Test, test. Hi Gail, how are you? Yeah, how are you? I'm well, thank you.
I'm just looking at the announcements.
As you can see, there's a lot happening at TNT. Information for all events can be found on a weekly e-blast. Shabbat Shalom. How did that sound? Well, folks, if I can ask you to take your seats. We're about to do a yai-da-dai. Yai-da-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Yai-da-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Yai-da-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Yai-da-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai. 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 Yai-da-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Yai-da-dai-dai-dai-dai. Yai-dai. Yai-da-dai. Yai-da-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Yai-dai. Yai-da-dai. Yai-da-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai.
2, 3, 4.
Yai-da-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Yai-da-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Yai-da-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Yai-da-dai-dai-dai-dai. Bim bum bim 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 bum. Bim 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 bum boom boom. Bim bum bim 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 bum. Bim 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 bum. Shabbat shalom.
Hey.
Shabbat shalom.
Hey.
Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Hey.
Shabbat shalom.
Hey.
Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom,
Hey.
Shabbat, Shalom,
Hey.
Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Oh, excuse me, that pollen, I'm waiting for the rain. So anyways, I'm asking President Adele to be able to walk around the sanctuary for some good news.
Who has good news? Make sure you tell us your name.
My name is Richard Strauss. My good news is my grandson Dana graduated 8th grade at the prep last night in a wonderful ceremony. On to high school.
Awesome.
Anybody else? I have some good news. I have a message from Rabbi Perlman. And number one, he thanks everybody for all the good thoughts and all the prayers and this and that. And he is hoping to be here next Shabbat. So he has to get clearance to drive. To walk. He has to get clearance to drive, which is probably coming on Tuesday. And then he's hoping to be here next Shabbat. So, everyone's good thoughts are helping him heal.
That's great, yeah. And I have one more thing to say. My granddaughter, Leah Bruna, was in the play Fiddler on the Roof that Hillel put on. They had it all last weekend, and she played Chava, and it was so emotional for me to watch my granddaughter like singing and dancing, and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe they're getting older. But anyways, she wanted me to say something, so I did anyways. And no, I was so proud as a grandparent, and it's a whole different category being a grandparent than a parent. It's such a different feeling. So with that, I'm so glad this is working. Page 13. Let's continue on with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Ashared, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And on page 14, Yedid Nefesh, Avarachaman, Mishoch Avdach, El Ritzonach, Yaharutz Avdach, Kimo Ayal, Yishtachave El Muhadarach, Yerav lo yedidu tach mino fetzuv v'chol tam. Yadadai dai dai dai, yadadai dai dai dai, yadadai dai 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 dai, yadadai dai dai dai, yadadai dai dai dai, yadadai dai 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 dai, yadadai dai dai dai, yadadai dai dai dai. Yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 die. In the bottom of page 14, let's read that bottom paragraph together. Dear God, help us now to make this a new Shabbat. After noise, we seek quiet. After crowds of indifferent strangers, we seek to touch those we love. After concentration on work and responsibility, we seek freedom to meditate, to listen to our inward selves. We open our eyes to the hidden beauties and the infinite possibilities in the world you are creating. We break open the gates of the reservoirs of goodness and kindness in ourselves and in others, and we reach toward one holy, perfect moment in Shabbat. And on 15, Lechu Neranina, Lechu Neranina, Lechu Neranina Ladonai, Lechu Neranina, Lechu Neranina, Lechu Neranina Ladonai. Naria, Letzo Yeshenu Nikadma, Fana Bitoda. Naria, Letzor Yeshenu, Bizmi wrote Naria lo, Lechu Neranina, Lechu Neranina, Lechu Neranina Ladonai, Lechu Neranina, Lechu Neranina, Lechu Neranina Ladonai. Kel Gadol, Nai Mo Gadol. Arbaim shana kut bedor v'omaram toeim levavhem v'hem lo yedu drachai asher nishpati v'yapi im yiva'un el menuchati. And on page 16, we'll read responsibly in English. Sing a new song to Adonai. Acclaim Adonai, all people on earth. Sing to Adonai, proclaim each day God's awesome might, God's glory and wonders. For Adonai is great, deserving of praise. Adonai alone is to be revered as God. Nations are nothingness, but Adonai, heavens. Majesty and might accompany God. Splendor and strength adorn God's sanctuary. All families of nations claim God's majestic power. Acknowledge God's glory and bring him tribute. Worship Adonai in resplendent reverence. Let the earth tremble in God's presence. Declare to the world that Adonai is sovereign. God has steadied the world, which stands firm and judges all nations with fairness. Let the heavens rejoice. Let the earth be glad. Let the sea and all it contains exult. Let field and forest sing for joy. Light comes to rule the earth and nations with faithfulness. Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz. Yeram hayamum lo'o, ya'alo sarai v'chol hashebo, azyiranenu kol hatzeyar, lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot ha'aretz, yishpot tevel b'tzedek, v'yamim be'emunato. Now we turn to page 20 from Mizmor David, if I could ask you to rise. Mizmor LeDavid, Havu Ladonai, B'nei Elim, Havu Ladonai, Kavod Va'oz, Havu Ladonai, Kivod Shimo, Ishtachavu Ladonai, Behadrat Kodesh, Kol Adonai al Hamayim, El HaKavod Hirim Adonai, Almayim Rabim, Kol Adonai Ba'koach, Kol Adonai Behada, Kol Adonai Shover Arazim, Vayishabir Adonai et Arzei Havanon, Vayakiden Kimo Egel, Lebanon Visirion, Kimo, then Re'emim, Kol Adonai Chotze Lahavot Eish, Kol Adonai Yachil Adonai Midbar Kadesh, Kol Adonai Yachol El Ayalot, Vayechesof Ye'arot, Uvhechalo kulo, Omer Kavod, Adonai Lamabu Yashav, Vayeshev Adonai, Melech Leolam, Adonai Os, Leamo Yitain, Adonai Yevarech et Amo Vashalom. You may be seated. Lechadodi, page 21, every other verse. Lechadodi lekrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lechadodi lekrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nikabela. Shamo v'zacho b'dibor echad, Hishmiyanu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, L'shemo teferet v'letila, Lechadodi lekrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nikabela. Migdash melech melucha, Kumitzi mitoch hafecha, Rav lach shevet b'emek habacha, Behu yakamol alayechem la, Lekadodi lekrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nikabela. Hitorari, Kiva ore kumi uri, Uri shidaberi, Kivod Adonai alayech nigla, Nechadodi lekrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nikabela. V'hayulim shisa sho sayach, V'rachaku komivalayich, Yasis alayich Elohayich, Kim soskatan al kala, Lechadodi lekrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nikabela. Bawi v'shalom materet bala, Gam b'simcha uv'tzahala, toch emunei am sigula, Bawi chala, Lechadodi lekrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nikabela. You may be seated. And now Psalm 92, a song for Shabbat responsively, page 23. It is good to acclaim Adonai, to sing your praise, exalted God. Your faithfulness each night, music of the lute. Your works, Adonai, make me glad. I sing with joy of your creation. Your designs are beyond our grasp. The thoughtless cannot comprehend. The foolish cannot fathom this. The wicked may flourish, springing up like grass, but their doom is sealed, for you are supreme forever. Your enemies, Adonai, your enemies shall perish. All the wicked shall crumble. Exalted, I'm anointed with fragrant oil. Seen the downfall of my foes, heard the diaspora of my attackers. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. They shall grow tall like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they will thrive in the courts of our God. They shall bear fruit even in old age. They shall be ever fresh and fragrant, to proclaim Adonai is just. There is no flaw. And 4 lines from the bottom. Tzadikatama yefrach, ke'erez bavanon yeske, shetulim bevei et Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuvon b'seva Dishenim vera'ananim yeyu lehagid ki yashar Adonai tzuri v'lo avlatabo. And silently on 24, and I'm a glory salvation. Edotecha ne'amnu miyod levecha nava kodesh Adonai le'orach yamim. And now Mourner's Kaddish, those observing your side, page 24. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah. V'alma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute. V'chaye chon uvyome chon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'gala uv'zman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'alam u'me'omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ah v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal. Shemei dekucha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tusbakata v'nechamata, damiram v'yalma v'yamru amen. Yehei shlama rabam min shemayim, v'chayim aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'rmamav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Now we rise for the Baruch Hu on page 28. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated. We continue silently on page 28. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzavaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yumloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. And join me on 29, Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael, Amcha Havta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, v'shachbeinu v'kumeinu, nasiach v'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Ki hen chayenu, v'yorech yameinu, uvahem nege, yomam v'layla, v'yavatkalta semimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'yahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha v'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shachbecha u'v'kumecha u'kashatam liot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot bein einecha u'chetavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'isharecha. And silently to the bottom of the page 30. Of the sun. למען ירבו ימיכם וימי בניכם על האדמה אשר נשבע אדוני אל אבותיכם לתת להם כי מהשמיים על הארץ. And together on 31. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם ויעשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם ונתנו על ציצית הכנף בתל תכלת והיה לכם לציצית הוריתם אותו וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ונשו לכנו שירה בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם מי כמוך פועלים אדוני מי כמוך נטע בקודש נורא תהילות עושה פלא מלכותך ראו בניך בוקעם לפני משה זה אלינו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגלום יד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גואל ישראל. Now we read together top of page 33. Help us Adonai to lie down in peace and awaken us again our sovereign to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace and guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy and shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise thee, O Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people, Israel, over Jerusalem. Fros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, haporez sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Now we rise for the Vishamru, top of page 34. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו B'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. Hey, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ביום תברכותי וימליך מלכותי, וחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה, ובזמן קריב יאמרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם עולמי יומיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתברך ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה ברכו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירם ביומה ויאמרו Amen. And we remain standing for the silent Amidah, page 35A or B, and it goes through page 38. And when you're done, you may be seated. Talk to myself. Let's turn now to page 38. Let's read the middle paragraph together. My God, keep my tongue from evil and my lips from lies, and help me ignore those who would slander me. Let me be humble before all. Open my heart to your Torah, that I may pursue your mitzvot. Frustrate the designs of those who plot evil against me. Make nothing of their schemes. Act for the sake of your compassion, your power, your holiness, and your Torah. Answer my prayer for the deliverance of your people. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, my rock and my redeemer. Let's sing together. Oh, say shalom bimrama. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. V'al kol Yisrael. V'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom. Ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, ya'aseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamaru. Amen. And may the one who brings peace to his universe bring peace to us, to all the people of Israel, and to everyone who dwells on this earth. And let us say Amen. And now we're going to do a prayer for healing. If I could ask you to rise, please, out of respect for those who are asking healing for. I'll do the prayer first, and then we'll sing Misha Berach. Misha Berach Avotenu Avram Yitzchak V'Yakov Sarivka Rachel Aleah Hu Yevarek V'Rapei Ed. Please, may God, who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, please bring blessing and healing to. Feel free to put in a name of someone you need knows healing. Call everybody on the list. And to all those who suffer illness within our congregational families, may the Holy One mercifully restore them to health and vigor, granting them physical and spiritual well-being. And we yet hope and pray that healing is at hand, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength to bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach imotenu Mekor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. And if I could ask you to remain standing to the Vayichulu, page 47. Vayichulu hashamayim v'ha'aretz v'chol tzivam. Vayikal Elohim bayom hashvi melakto asher asa. Vayishpot bayom hashvi mikol melakto asher asa. Vayavarech Elohim et yom hashvi vayikadesh oto kivo shavat mikol melakto kivo shavat mikol melakto. Asher bara Elohim, Asher bara Elohim lasot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elokei avotenu, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, v'Elokei Yaakov, Elokei Sarah, Elokei Rivka, Elokei Rachel, v'Elokei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon konei shamayim va'aretz. And you may be seated. Magen avot bidvaro, Michaye metim b'ma'amaro, Ha'el hakadosh ein kamohu, Hameniach le'amo b'yom Shabbat kodsho, Kivam ratza lehaniach lahem, Kivam ratza lehaniach lahem, Lefanav navod mirav afachad, V'nodeh lishma b'chol yom tamid me'on habrachot. El hahodaot Adon shalom, Mekadesh hashabat u'mevarek shvi'i, U'meniach b'kedusha li'amedu shnei oneg, Zecher L'maaseh v'reishit. Eloheinu v'le'avotenu, ritzei b'mnuchatenu, kadshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'techalkeinu b'toratecha. Sabeinu mituvecha, v'samcheinu b'shuatecha, v'taher libeinu li'avadecha be'emet, v'hankilenu Adonai Eloheinu, v'ahava u'ratzon Shabbat Kodshecha, V'nuchuva Yisrael, Mikadashei Shemecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat. Yitgadav Yitgadash Merabah, B'alma Divrakute V'amlech Malchute B'chayechon V'mechon B'chayedecho Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala Uzman Kariv Yamaru, Amen Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach, Li'alam Lamei Omaya, Yitbarak Vishtabak Vitpa'ar Vitramam Yinaseh Vitadav Yitalev Vitalav Shemer Kucha Brichu Le'ela Minko Birchata V'shirata Tushmakata V'nechamata Da'amiram V'yama V'yamuru Amen Titkabal Tzalot Tahonu Va'utahon B'chol Yisrael Kadam Abuhon Divishmai V'yamuru Amen Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemai V'chaim Alen V'kol Yisrael V'yamuru Amen. Oseh shalom bimrom avu yaseh shalom aleinu val kol Yisrael v'yimaru. Amen. And thank you to those who knew to start to hand out the wine and the grape juice for Kiddush that's coming up on page 49. Thank you, folks, for handing that out. If I could ask you to rise for the Kiddush, page 49. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshana b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kadsho v'yahavav ratzonin kilanu zikaron l'maseh b'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikrayei kodesh Zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, Kivanu v'acharta, v'yotanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, v'yahava u'ratzon inkaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat. Well, you may be seated. You know, the rabbis talk about the festivals that we had last week. It was Shavuos. And they said that we need festivals to kind of break up the boredom, the mundane things and activities of our lives. So we need something spiritual and something at certain sections of the year to kind of bring us back. And, you know, it's like going on a vacation. It's a holiday. And then there's just something about getting back into doing your daily routine as well. I guess for... not that I know, but maybe accountants, you know, they got this craziness until, you know, April 15th, and then you start to live normally again. Maybe, I don't know, first you go to Aruba, then you come home right afterwards to that. But anyways, that's not what I'm talking about tonight, but it's just something I love about the regular stuff. And then there's something I love about breaking it up and having the holidays too. So our Torah reading this week is Pashas Naso. It's one of the longer readings of the year. There are basically 5 sections to this chapter. And each section seems to be completely different from the next. Actually, if I really get into it, I could probably come up with 6 or 7 categories, but I wanted to talk about 5, and then I'll talk about a couple of them after that. First, it's the continuation of last week's reading, which is a census of the Levites, and then it describes what their duties are. So for the Levites, there were some that were in charge of the actual sacrifices of themselves, making sure everything was in order. The other had to do with the tabernacle, taking it down, carrying it, etc. There was really quite a lot to do when it came time from them putting up the Mishkan and taking it down. Second section deals with adultery. So I just want to mention about adultery. It really focused on the woman, because when you think of men in those days, they could have like 10 wives if they wanted. What do you need somebody else? I mean, they had concubines and wives and whatever, and the only kind of adultery would be for a man would be if they had an affair with another married woman. But other than that, the field was open. The third section deals with the priestly blessing. We're all familiar with the Yevarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. So if we were to repeat the Amidah, each Amidah, that would be in there, and we would say it every single service. But we only do it really on the high holidays, so we don't hear it too often, but it's in there all the time. The fourth section tells us about the laws of the Nazir, the Nazirite, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. In the fifth section is about the procession or the parade of the princes of each tribe that brings their gifts to the Kohanim and the Levites for the inauguration of the tabernacle. So I want to talk about the three of the topics. First, I want to talk about the priestly blessings. It starts with Yevarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. We all know that by heart. May God bless you and watch over you. So Rashi says, what does it mean, bless you? Bless you means for your possessions. You might ask, what about, kids and things of the other kinds of blessings? That's mentioned in other blessings. God says if you do this and that, you'll have the fruit of the womb and you'll have a good yield in the field, things like that. But in this particular case, Rashi says it's part for your possessions. And watch over you and guide you means that once God blesses you with the things, he'll watch over you to make sure nobody takes them away. He's both the giver and the guardian. The second section says, may God shine his face towards you and be gracious to you. Or another translation is, may Adonai show you favor and be gracious to you. So two famous rabbis had a dispute, different opinions on the translation. Onkelos says, may he be gracious towards you. Rashi says, may he endow you with the quality of grace. I'll take either one. Doesn't really matter. He's going to be gracious to you, or he will make you gracious. V'chuneka, that comes from the word chen. You know what chen is? It's like God said that about Noah. I find favor in you. It's something about a quality in a person that when you're around that person, you like that person. And the person exudes goodness and beauty and kindness, and that's chen. So that's what we hope from God when he blesses us. May Adonai lift his face or his countenance towards you and place upon you peace. Because the word is v'yasem, means to place, like smicha. You put your hand on someone as smicha. He says v'yasem lecha, he will place peace upon you. You see, if God lifts his face towards you, it means he's looking out for you. You know what it reminds me of? Let's say you're with your kids or your grandkids, and you're at the park. What do? Go like this, right? Don't you pick up your chin a little bit? You look to make sure to see where they are, or at a swimming pool, and that's what you do. You lift up your face towards them, and you make sure that they're okay. The second topic I want to speak about is the Nazir, the Nazirite, who makes a vow to God to actually separate themselves from ordinary living behaviors by abstaining from certain things like that would make him unholy. So, for instance, such as coming in contact with a corpse. You have to think about that time. Somebody passes away. People pass away all the time. Somebody has to deal with that body. So a Nazir is not allowed to do that, or a high priest. Shaving, he's not allowed to shave. Got to let his beard grow, or let his hair get too long. He can't be unkempt, or whatever the word may be. The Nazir was also not allowed to drink wine or anything made of grapes, including grapes themselves or their skins, or even grape vinegar was included in the prohibition. Strong drink that the Torah calls shachar was not allowed either. It's an intoxicating beverage other than wine, so that would not be allowed. So why is that? The reason for not ingesting any alcohol is that God does not want to be close in a special relationship like the Nazir and God making vows with an intoxicated person. When we think of Nadav and Avihu, which was Aaron's two oldest sons, remember they came with strange fire right after the inauguration of the Mishkan, and they came with their fire pans and everything. Commentators say they were half drunk. And God said, I'm not going to deal with that. Dead. So, by the way, at the end of the Nazir term, he or she had to bring a sin offering because he not only separated himself to be close to God, he also separated himself from the community at certain times, which is not the way we are to live. We are a community, and our duty is to care for each other. And you can't do that if you go into seclusion and separate yourself from the community events. So let me ask you, who was our most famous Nazir or Nazirite? And don't tell me the guy in the cross. That's not a correct answer at all. Anybody know? I think I heard the right answer. Al, did you say it? Samson. He was a Nazirite. What did God tell him? Oh, told his mother anyways, don't drink anything. I don't know if he could drink something, but he said, don't drink anything and don't. The difference was, as you said, it says you're not allowed to let your hair grow too long. But God said to him, don't cut your hair, because he was in a special category in his own right, but he was still considered a Nazirite. And by the way, the thing that actually got him killed, I should say, is a little kind of going off the subject a little bit, but was he allowed his hair to get cut. You know, he fell in love with this woman and told a secret. And the fact that his power wasn't in here, the fact that his power was in his agreement with God, that he would obey all of God's laws. And once he allowed his hair and he told the woman about cutting it, he broke that relationship and the code of conduct that was required of him as a Nazirite. And that's why God allowed just ordinary things to happen to him as it would be to anybody else. And he no longer gave him that special power because he gave up his Nazirite status. Third topic I want to speak about is about the procession on the parade of the princes of each tribe that brought their gifts to donate to and from the inauguration of the tabernacle. The Mishkan was just completed. Each day, a prince representing his respective tribe handed his gifts over to the Levites and the Kohanim for use in the tabernacle. Each tribe brought exactly the same things. So one tribe couldn't say that the other brought more or less, thus eliminating any jealousy or favoritism. And each procession was on a separate day, giving each tribe its proper respect to show that each tribe was equal. Moses says, who should go first? He didn't know. Did it go by birth order or whatever order? So God says, was the order in which they traveled. So if you could picture it, they all surrounded the Torah, and when it came time for them to travel, certain tribes went first. I think the tribe of Judah was always in the front. The Hebrew word used in the Torah for inauguration, by the way, is Chanukat, which is translated as dedication. That's why we call Hanukkah Hanukkah, because the temple was rededicated. That word Hanukkah. If somebody says to you, a non-Jewish person, what's Hanukkah mean? You can say it means dedication. And on the holiday of Hanukkah, we read this section that we're reading tomorrow of the Torah, and each day of the holiday of Hanukkah, corresponding to each day, a prince brought his tribe's gifts to the Mishkan. So in closing, let's take the lessons of this week's Parsha. The priestly blessings should make us think about appreciating the things we are blessed with, including each other. And let's hope and pray that God will continue to bless us and guide us. Regarding the Nazir, perhaps we could take some time and get a little closer to God by doing a few more mitzvot. And perhaps in the theme of Hanukkah, we could rededicate ourselves to a better life. I don't know. Each one of us has to do our own soul searching, don't we? Well, let's at least give Tikkun Olam a try. We can heal the world, absolutely. We just have to work at it. But we have to start with ourselves first. Let me end by quoting a couple of verses from a Michael Jackson song called The Man in the Mirror. I've been a victim of a selfish kind of love. It's time that I realize that there are some with no home, not a nickel to loan. Could it really be me pretending that they're not alone? I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. With that, Shabbat Shalom. Well, let's do Aleinu. Don't have to count the Omer or nothing like that, just an ordinary Shabbat evening service. So if you could rise for the Aleinu, page 51. Aleinu l'shabbat l'adon hakol latet gedula liyotze bereshit shelo asanu kirei haratzot v'lo samanu kimishpachot ha'adama shelo sam chalkenu kahem v'gar aleinu kichol hamonam v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notes shamayim b'yosei haaretz u'moshev yikaro b'shamayim mima'al u'shkinatu zo b'kavhei miromim hu Eloheinu ein od Emet Malkeinu Efetz Zulato Kakatu B'Torato V'yatata hayom B'Hashevota El Levavecha Ki Adonai Hua Elohim B'Shamayim Mimal V'Al Haaretz Mitachat Ein Od Okay, Kakatu b'Toratech Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai le'melech al kol ha'aretz Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. You may be seated. This time we want to remember the yortzites for this week. Max Feiner, Benjamin Altshuler, Andrew Silverman, Geraldine Beck, Charlotte Dantowitz, Eleanor Minsky, Dora Shamara, Lawrence Feldman, Bessie Maldo, Sophie Herman, Ethel Lazar, Helene London, Adele Goldberg, Melvin Goldberg, Arnold Greenstein, Morris Teitelbaum. Any other yortzites for this week? So with that, may the faith that binds us to our loved ones being a continuous source of comfort as we invite those who mourn, those observing yortzeit, to praise God's name with the words of the Kaddish, page 52. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei decho beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'zman kariv yemru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam umei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekucha barichu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiram v'alma v'yamru amen. Yehei shlomo rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'ramav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. May be seated. So it says here, the announcement says Barry, so I'm going to assume that's Barry Beck. He's the only Barry here. I know. Richard, you want to do the announcements for us tonight? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rabbi Bernie, for leading us in services tonight. And tomorrow morning services are at 9:30 a.m. Mazel tov to Russ Grossman on the 25th anniversary of his bar mitzvah. Thank you for sponsoring tomorrow's Kiddush luncheon. And Sunday morning minyan will be at 9 o'clock in person and virtual. Evening minyanim Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. in person and virtual. Adult Education Book Club is reading The Book of Lost Names by Kristen Harmel. Join us on Thursday, June 15th at 7:30 p.m. Our Temple Men's Club and Sisterhood installation will be held, our Temple Men's Club and Sisterhood installation will be held on Friday, June 16th at 8 p.m. Next Lunch and Learn is on Thursday, the 22nd of June. Save the dates. Join our men's club for deep sea fishing on Sunday, July 16th. Join our adult education group for an outdoor theater experience in Rockport on July 25th. We will be attending a performance of Rite of Passage. See Esther Kaufman for more details. As is normal, there's an awful lot going on here at Temple Ner Tamid. Everything can be seen on the weekly e-blast. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Richard. It's always nice to depend on you when we need somebody to step in. So we conclude our service now with the Yigdal on page 53. Yigdal Elohim Chai v'yishtabach nimtzav yenei del metziuto echad v'yen yachid ki yichudo le'elam v'gam ein sof le'achduto ein lo demud haguf v'eino guf lo na'aroch elav kedushato Kadmon l'chol davar, harshe nira, rishon v'yen reshid l'reshito. Hino adon olam b'chol notza, yareh gedulato malchuto, shefan nevuato nitano, elan segulato v'tifarto, lo kam b'Yisrael kim Moshe od, navi umabid et emunato, Torah temed natan li'amoel, al yad nevi'o neman beito, lo yachalifo el ve'lo yamidato, le'olamim lezulato, sofer v'yodeya sitarenu, nabid lesof davar b'kadmato, gomel le'ish chesed kimifalo, noten l'rasha ra kirishato, Yishlach l'ketzi amin mishichenu, lifton mechakeket yeshuato, meitim yechayel, verov chasto, baruch adeyad shem tehilato, meitim yechayel, verov chasto, baruch adeyad shem tehilato. Shabbat shalom, everybody, and see you all tomorrow at 9:30. And please join us at the rear of the sanctuary for Kabbalat Shabbat, enjoying delicious Kiddush, whatever we want to call it. Oneg Shabbat, so I should call it an Oneg.